Hello, y'all on YouTube. This is Rob, the Rob's Nerdy Knives. Today we have a very special review, impressions of a knife that was loaned to me by Neeve from Neeve's Knives. Yeah, this is the Misdemeanor. So let's take a look. All right, today we're looking at the Misdemeanor. This is a knife by Neeve Knife Co, I believe it is. Neeve Knife Co. I think that's the name of their company, right? But it's from Neeve's Knives, which is the YouTube channel for Neeve. He created this knife. This is the Misdemeanor. Really, really cool little knife. I got a chance to check out. Thank you, Jarrett, for allowing me to look at it. This knife, as you can hear, is very musical. It is really cool. So, as far as I know, the knife itself is manufactured, the OEM is Riot, right? So Riot is the manufacturer that actually built this knife for Neeve, who is the designer of the knife. And the name obviously is the Misdemeanor. The materials here we're dealing with is titanium handles. They are jigged, so there's texture to them. Beautifully chamfered all the way around. It's a captive pivot. Really almost no hardware on this side except for the captive pivot over here. You've got hidden hardware with the clip, which is relatively deep carry, but it's hidden inside. You've got T8s. You've got two T8s and the pivot over here. And then you've got a T8 for the lock bar insert over travel stop. All right, so that's titanium. There is no weight relief, so it gives it it's got some weight to it. The cutout for the lock bar is on the inside. It's a rather large lock bar for sure. Could be maybe a little smaller. I don't know. I don't know if maybe there's reason for that. I don't know. I don't know. I don't design knives. I have no idea. But it doesn't get in my way for anything. So I'm okay with it personally. The lockup, we're looking at a good 50%, it looks like. So I love the cutaway here to the lock bar and this awesome frag pattern jimping. That's just so cool. That's so unique. I love, love, love that. I think that's nice. I love the laser etched on the pivot. The Neeve's knives right there. Kind of a nice little hard, it doesn't jump out at you. It's not overstated. There's no billboarding here or on the blade, which I love. Now the blade steel is K390, which is a really great edge retention steel. Works really well. I don't believe it's corrosive resistant, but it is very good at edge retention. It's similar to, I believe, S90V or S110. I think it's S90V, but without the corrosion resistance. So that's pretty cool. Hollow grind, beautiful hollow grind, unique blade shape. You can call this sort of a clip, reverse Tonto sheep's foot, modified Warncliffe, whatever. So we could call this a clip Tonto sheep, I don't know, worn blade, whatever. I don't know what you modified. We'll call it modified, but it works. It's a very functional blade shape. It's got a nice tip going in, nice pokey tip to get into dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, cases of water, get into your Amazon boxes, opening a box, closing a box, whatever you're doing right there. If you're putting up, working in the house, you're putting up wallpaper, whatever. This is a very functional blade. Definitely has a nice place where you can come up here and push and do a very precision cut, which is really nice. Got some nice jimping up here. It's not overly aggressive as I go across. It doesn't feel like it's going to take 20 layers of skin off. When you push down, it locks you in. Love, love, love that. A full kind of fuller here. I call this a fuller. People might call it a thumb hole, but there's really no room for your thumb. This to me is more of a fuller hole. Call it what you want. I don't care. To me, that's a fuller hole. It has a nice finger choil up here for a nice choke up. And the jimping does extend all the way out, so it's beautiful for control. Plenty of room for my big meaty fingers, right? So I got large hands with meaty fingers. So if you have an extra large hands with normal size fingers, a double extra large hands with thinner fingers, it's about your grip. But you have all this extra room. So I think if you've got big meaty fingers like me, and you're an extra large or double extra large, I think you'll have plenty of room. Even maybe triple extra large. I don't know, but plenty of room up there. Nice slicey edge. It does retain its edge well. Man, it's wonderful, wonderful. It is a frame lock, like I said. It does disengage nicely. It does drop. I hear if you put skiffs in, it sings even more. It has a beautiful sing. Let's do it again. I don't know if you can hear that. Let's see if I can get it close to the microphone and do it one more time. You hear that? I can hear it. Do it again. All right. If you can't hear it, turn up the volume and listen. Okay, one more time. You can hear it. All right. So beautiful, beautiful acoustics. I do like that. But I hear if you put skiffs in, it's even better. I don't know. And if I did skiffs, you can see the K390 right there. It's inside the backspacer. It is backspacer. This backspacer, by the way, like the jimping here, is very functional on the back. So if you had to do like a push cut, you're cutting through leather, plastic, cardboard, you got a push cut. Or if you had to do a pull cut, I guess you could kind of do that as well. Or, you know, pull cuts typically, you know, up this way. It'll work. It'll give you some nice texture, nice grip. You're not going to drop this knife. I like that. I like that a lot. It's rounded. None of that's going to dig in. There's no pokey spots anywhere. It's very comfortable in hand. As I grip it and I squeeze, there's no hot spots. I like that. I like that. Everything fits nicely. It doesn't poke out at me. The clip itself has a nice rounded. Now it does it's a deep ramp going in. So, you know, you probably got to bump over that a little bit and going out. I didn't find it too difficult. I mean, it is a stronger clip, I will say. It's a little thicker on top, which, you know, that may be by design. You know, some people like a much stronger clip, and I get it. Ooh, there you go. You're here, there. Let's do that again. Maybe if I do it left-handed. You ready? Let me get close to the microphone. There you go. Love that. All right, so, and it's got this nice top flipper that you can, well, I thought I could. Let's see here. Yeah, I don't have, it works well for me to do the knuckle flip. It works well for me to hold on here and do the thumb flip. That works well. I can do it left-handed, right-handed, right? That works well. I can't quite get up here and get up here and do this part because I don't have the leverage for it for whatever reason. But it works well like that. I like that. I think going down, pushing, works well. Pulling across is where I have more of a challenge. So the thumb works really nicely, and then also the knuckle here works nicely. So that's cool. All right, lock bar cutout is on the inside. That's another nice feature. You don't have that sticking out here as a pocket shredder. The chamfering, I said, it's all really, really great all the way around. Riot made this. They did an outstanding job on this, I must say. So I do like that a lot. All right, so we talked about the materials. We talked about opening, closing. You've got the fuller hole here, works really great low, right? You can also kind of go a little high if you wanted to. You can do the flipper, so you got multiple deployments. You've got options, right? You got different ways you can deal with this knife. And guess what? I've even got a little bonus flick down here. So if I wanted to go really low and I just use the blade and the hollow of the blade, I've got bonus flick. I always love bonus flick, you know me. So I love having bonus flick. So if I'm really low, for some reason I can't get there, I can do that, right? So, or if I'm up here and I guess, could I? I'm getting weird. I don't want to start cutting myself doing weird attempts at different deployments. But anyways, really, really nice. I like that. I like that a lot. Beautifully dead nut centered. Like I said, wonderful hollow grind, super slicey. Love that. The blade to handle ratio is really pretty good. I mean, it does cover it, which is nice because it's got a pokey tip. So, I mean, I think Jared was thinking about, you know, not anybody getting poked and stuff. So that's nice. Keeps it nice and protected in there. Keep the blade kind of protected and ready and available to use. All right. So we talked about the blade. We talked about the finish. We talked about the angle. It's a very functional angle. This right here doesn't stick up too terribly much. It is nice and rounded, so it's not super uncomfortably pokey, which sometimes a really hard straight up corner can be. So that's nice. You don't feel like you're going to get poked. Some people may not like that, but it's very functional because you can be low and it works, and you can be high and it works, right? So, and your thumb can just be pretty much up here and it works, right? So that's nice. You have the availability to do any of those. I think that's cool. All right, let's do some weight real quick. See how much this guy weighs. So we're dealing, because it's not a milled out scale, you're dealing with 4 ounces. It is 4 ounces. It doesn't feel terribly heavy, but I think the balance of the knife is further back here. Yeah. So it's further back here. Hollow grind, no weight relief on the scale. And I know that, I think Jared did that to save cost because he wanted to make the knife available and affordable to folks. Because if you do all that extra milling, you do all sort of other things, it's going to add up. And some of his features, he wanted a, captive pivot, hidden hardware, that costs. And then when you get into the weight relief and the milling on the handle, that can be more expensive. Now, sometimes people like a heavier knife, and that's also really nice when you're dealing with a tool. You want to have some weight. You don't feel like it's super light, it's going to fly around. That, there's some arguments for that, right? So you have that. A larger lock bar also gives you a stronger engagement, right? So you don't deal with, you have a stronger strength in locking it in. It's not going to break that lock bar. And if you squeeze down, you're not going to, the lock's not going to disengage as you're cutting. So, you know, there's some benefit for that. Some people have complained that they squeeze and it locks in. I've had no issues, even when I did a squeeze test, did this, and I don't have any lock. I don't have any stick, nothing. So not sure what's happening there. I can't speak for that, but I can tell you for mine, it works just really nicely. What else? So we talked about the weight. Let's do about the length, overall length, right? It was 4 ounces. The overall length of the knife is 8 1/8 of an inch. So it's 8 1/8 of an inch. The overall handle, if you just look at the regular handle, is about 4 inches. If you go to the very tip, if you do the finger troll to the very back, you're looking at 4 7/8 of an inch. So it's plenty of room for lots of handle. Looking at the blade itself, you're going back here, you're looking at 3, and I want to say 5/8 of an inch. So 3 5/8 of an inch. And then overall cutting is 3.5 inches, just a little over 3.5 inches. Not bad. All right, so let's look at the blade stock thickness on this guy. It is pretty thin, kind of nice and slicey for sure. So let's measure that. So 92.5 or 93 thousandths of an inch. So 93, definitely under 1/10 of an inch. So it's a pretty thin blade stock, which is nice. And then with the hollow grind, it gets ridiculously thin. I'm not into measuring behind the edge kind of, you know, I can tell you it's thin. It's a slice. It's slicey. It'll cut, right? You know, you keep that edge, you strop it, you sharpen it. It's gonna cut all day long for you. I like that. I like that a lot. So that's nice. All right, so what's the budget category? What are we looking at as far as a knife here? So Jared was listing this knife at $294 on his site. I hope he has another run. Doesn't guarantee the price is still going to be the same at $294. I don't know if that was a sale price or whatever, but I'm sure the pre-order might have been a little cheaper. Usually they are. If there was a I don't think there was a pre-order for this one. I think he just dropped it. So that's the price, $294. That falls in with what I call my regular category, 100 to 300. But I do know the all blacked out versions were like 315, so they fall into the very lower end of high-end knives. They're over 300 bucks. So, you know, if you go plain tie, you know, it's just under the $300 range. And if you go, you know, with the blacked out and you do some different color pivots and stuff like that, you get into the $300 plus range, right? So for this version, this is the version I would want, and that's going to be under the $300 range, so it's regular category. Now, is this EDC, hard use, collection piece? It can be a collection piece. Any knife can be a collection piece, I feel, in this range. Now, for me, you know, all my collection pieces are knives I use. I don't have Safe Queens except for my dad's knife from before World War II, but every other knife I use. And if it's in my collection, I'll use it. If I don't use it and I find that I'm not using it at all, then it probably will be something that will be a catch and release and be sold. This is something I would love to have in my collection at some point, especially when he does a second run or if he has some extra warranty knives that he doesn't use and he allows me to buy one. Anyways, sometimes that happens, right? He may have a little drop or he just has one off or something, or he has a return that somebody returned because, I don't know, they didn't like it. They got a scuff on the clip or something, and I don't know, maybe I can buy that as a discount. That would be cool. Anyways, this is a really, really nice knife at that price. I think it's a fair price. It is K390, and you might be like, it's K390. Well, there's so many other things that you added on here. You have the texture, which is nice, full texture. You have the hidden hardware on the clip. You have a nice milled hardware clip, a unique design. You have no hardware on this side. You have a back spacer with texture. You have full texture here. You got a hollow grind. All these things add costs to the knife, right? Now, there's no milling. That's the save cost, and that gets him into that range, I think. So, you know, there you go. I think that's where he was able to get it at the $300 mark, and that's I think it's cool. I like it. Some people love K390, some people don't, and I think K390 is probably pretty cool. Probably pretty fine. It'd be the first knife I would ever own in K390, I believe, but I'd be happy to have it. All right, so is it hard use? It's hard use as far as a frame lock, hollow grind, thin blade stock knife can be. So if you're cutting boxes, you know, cardboard, you're cutting cases of water, dog food, cat food, fertilizer, mulch, whatever, yeah, I think it's perfectly fine. It's going to be hard use all day long. If you're trying to go out and do survival, cut wooden logs and stuff like that, use the right tool for the right job. Get a fixed blade or get an axe, right, if you're out there. But if you're in a situation where this is all you have, I think it'll do well. I think it would do well. Got to be careful. It's not a poking, prying kind of knife. I don't know how the toughness, I think the toughness is around close to D2, somewhere around there, if I remember correctly. I can't remember right now, but it's not super fragile. It's not like Maximit or Rex 121 for sure, but it's not 3V or M4. It's not, you know, MagnaCut kind of tough, but it is relatively a decent stock. But it's hollow grind. It's very thin. That always adds the geometry. That adds dimensions to it. That things you can't do maybe with other knives. You always got to keep in mind. You could easily break off the tip if you're trying to pry, do anything with it, right? If you're trying to do weird cuts and try to turn, you know, this is meant to slice, the hollow, it's going to cut through. Just allow it to do its job. Don't try to force it. But in that regard, I think hard use is absolutely. And is it EDC? Obviously, this is absolutely meant for EDC. It was designed for EDC. Jared wanted this to be an everyday type of carry knife, and I'm sure he carries his quite regularly because it's the knife he's always wanted. It's the knife he designed. So I think a lot of people do, and a lot of people like this. They feel like it's going to be a workhorse sort of knife for them, and I can see that. Absolutely see that. So overall, what do I think about the overall design? The handles, the opening, the closing, the texture, the jimping. There's no lanyard loop, which is fine. The jimping on the back spacer and on the clip, fantastic. Very functional, works great. The chamfering, wonderful. No hot spots, no sharp spots. Rounded clip, which is wonderful. The top front flipper works great. The fuller works great. Easily deployed, easily close, easily deployed, easily close. The lock bar, easily to get past that. Access to disengage the lock, it's great. It does drop shut. I would love to put skiffs in there and see how well that I could get it to that control drop shut. This is more of a shake shut, which some people absolutely want shake shut. I like control drop shut. I'm not a guillotine fan. Some people love guillotine closed. I'm not a fan of that. I like control drop shut, where it's like, where it closes like that, right? You know, it's controlled going down. That to me is enjoyable. I think I've almost got this one close to that now. Yeah, it's still drop shut. This is phosphor bronze, so this is hard to get to that. Something that would be what I call the ideal close is going to be my Skiff Made Blades Fugitive. You see that? It doesn't guillotine, but it does close with a controlled drop shut. You got the Misdemeanor, and then you've got the Fugitive here, right? So, you know, two knives named after some, you know, one's running and one's who did something, right? So maybe you had a Misdemeanor and then you were a Fugitive. I don't know. But anyways, that's the kind of control drop shut. And you usually get that with skiffs and how well you tighten your pivot, just to make sure that there's no blade play and all that good stuff, and some Loctite. Then when you put Loctite on, make sure it dries for 24 hours. Don't cover it in oil, let the oil get into the pivot. It'll undermine the Loctite, but you got to let it dry. Let it dry for full 24 hours, and usually you're pretty good. All right, so that is the opening closing. It's fantastic. Overall feel solid. Fidget all day long. I was fidgeting with this. I enjoyed this. I enjoy fidgeting with it. It's really nice. It's a fun knife. It's definitely a carry fidget fun knife. I really, really do enjoy that a lot. Going in and out of the pocket, I'm going to put it in real quick. Yeah, in and out, it's nice, easy. Love that. Was nice in my jeans as well, so I do remember that. So what's the fidget what's the fidget factor scale on this guy? So I've got a top flipper, sort of a front flipper. I mean, that's really a front flipper, you know, and then you could do the top flipper or whatever you call it. You got the fuller that works all the way, both sides. And you can do the thumb opening as well. You can do the slow, oh, let me get in there. You can do the slow roll if you wanted to do that. You can do the slow roll on the left hand as well, right? That's nice. I can do the thumb opening over here as well. I can do the flipper over here as well. That's nice. I can do the reverse flick here as well. That's nice. And then you got the bonus flick right there without the fuller at the very base where the hollow grind is. I can do that both left and right hand side. So to me, you know, you get that. So that gives me in the 6 realm because of the budget flip and because how nice that works and because how well that lock bar, it's just easy access, easy to work, not tiring, easy to get into, just works really well. I'm going to give this, I'm going to give a 7.5. A 7.5. We'll round that up to an 8, but it's a 7.5. So that's a really solid high score, I think. 7.5. We're going to round it to an 8. An 8. We're dealing with an 8 on the fidget factor. Well, how well does it execute the fidget factor? How well does it work? So the only thing that I don't do well is this you know, getting up here. Let me see. Is it because my hand's on there? Is that why? No. You have to kind of really, yeah. I can't do that. So, I mean, I mean, and it's not a big deal because I don't normally do it, and I normally didn't do it until I was carrying my brown knives, my Cortex, you know, which I can do that on, right? And that has the flipper goes back. It almost looks like hair, you know, right? Like a little hairdo, right? And so you can kind of go up here and do that. I can't quite do it on this one, and I don't know if that's because it's a pretty strong detent, right? Some people like really strong, crispy detent, and I wonder if I tune this just ever so slightly, would it make a difference? I don't know. And if it does, I would probably end up giving it 100. But as a result of that, I'm going to give this a solid 95. It's an A. Solid A. Everything is excellent, outstanding, wonderful, fantastic. I mean, I really, really, really like everything on here. It does it really, really well. This, and again, if it was my knife, put skiffs in, tune the lock bar a little bit, would I be able to get that? I don't know. I don't know. And you guys can let me know if you are able to do that and if you had to tune it. Maybe some of you guys have super strong hands, your carpenters, your electricians, your mechanics, and that's a super easy thing for you to do. I just don't have the leverage to do it unless I'm down here. So notice if I hold down here, I can do that. The problem is I just don't have the leverage to get there like that. So let's see, can I do it like that? Problem is, yeah, I have to hold this because it keeps wanting to break free up here. I'm still having to hold it here. No, I can't. So I don't have enough grip, and I think that could be something to do with the lock bar, right? It's just, it's a crisp detent, and that's fine. That's the reason why I give it a 95. It's still solid A. Everything else is excellent. Just, you know, a little something that I felt like with it up there, felt like it really would be nice if you could do that. But it's not my knife. I'm not going to take it apart. I'm not going to do anything to it, right? So I treat every knife that's loaned to me with respect. I don't do hard use, crazy test, disassemble, do anything like that. This is someone's allowing me to check it out and see if it's something I would like. What it does tell me is that next time he does another drop and he orders some more, I'm getting one, right? For sure. Absolutely for sure getting one. So I'm looking forward to that. Great knife, great knife. So overall, is it recommended? Yes, absolutely recommend it. So when he does another drop and you want to get one, you think, should I get one? Please do. I mean, I think it's a great knife. If you like the aesthetic, you like the way it looks the functionality, you love the sing that it does, listen, it sings. This baby sings. You can hear it all day long. Let's see if we can get it. Can you hear that? Let me get a little closer here with the mic. Get it one more time. Oh, not there. Let's do it. You can hear it. If you can't hear it, turn up your mic. But just really, really wonderful. Put some headphones on, right? So just sings really, really nicely. It's fantastic. I do like it a lot. All right. So yeah, definitely recommend it. But before we do that, let's do some close-ups because I like to do close-ups. I like to get you a nice close look at that hollow grind. There it is. Beautiful hollow grind. There's the texture, the jimping all the way at the top. The nice little cutaway here. It's got a great place for put your thumb for like a precision cut. That hollow grind is crazy with a beautiful belly down here. That's nice. Nice pokey tip to get into things. Here's the scale. No hardware over here. Captive pivot right there. Minimal lasered Neeves knives right there. Beautiful jigged all the way across. You can see the chamfering all the way around the scale there. Really nice. Here's the cutout for the lock bars on the inside. There's no weight relief, which is fine. I can deal with that. Then you can also see the lock bar access right there with the frag pattern. That's a nice little touch. Nice little touch. I love that. That's a beautiful aesthetic, right? I think that's wonderful. Then we get on the other side here. Now we have two screws and a screw here. This is the lock bar over travel stop. That's on the lock bar itself. Hidden hardware on the clip. That's on the inside. You can probably see the screw. Can we get to the screw? Can we see it? Can we see that screw? There it is. You can see it right there. All right. So there's the screw. You can see the lock bars underneath, chamfering all the way around on the scale as well. Here's that beautiful frag pattern. I don't know what you call it, frag pattern, giant jimping. I don't know, frag, whatever, on the lock bar. Here's the lock bar itself, right? And then you have this clip, very functional, nice in and out. Does go in and out. It's pretty aggressive. It's strong. It's definitely going to give you really keep that knife in place. There's the T8 screw, T8, T8, T8 all the way around. Here's the hollow grind on this side. You can definitely see the hollow grind with the shadow. It's really nice. Again, you got that fuller right here. And then you've got the jimping on top right up there. And the little place for you can put your finger, like if you're doing a precision cut. That works really nicely. Let's look at the lock bar. Fully engaged right in there. Really nice. All right. And there's the K390. Can you see that? K390 right there. All right. So let's zoom out. Kind of get our little thumbnail shot, a little money shot, whatever you want to call it. So there it is, kind of highlight with the shadows, the hollow grind. Look at that, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Let's look at the back and kind of get the hollow grind as well. Look at that, nice, beautiful, aesthetic, gorgeous. All right, so that's the knife right there. Recommended, great knife. Definitely check it out. Hey, if you found this content fun, interesting, worthwhile, or informative, would you please consider hitting the like button down below? And if you've already hit that like button, would you please consider hitting the subscribe button? Subscribing and liking the channel really helps out the channel, allows me to produce more content, do more things, ultimately do more things for you guys. So thank you. Thank you to everyone who watches the videos, who likes the videos, who watches the content, is part of the live stream, who's part of the comments, the community. I appreciate you so very much. Thank you. If you haven't already, hit that notification button down below so you can be notified of future content like this video. And a big shout out, thank you to all my channel members. I appreciate you guys have been so generous with your memberships. I want to be generous back to you. So I do two exclusive things for channel members. I do a once a month members giveaway, and I also give all new channel members a channel member sticker and a little thank you note. So the once a month members giveaway is not the, like every week we do a budget kind of banger giveaway, but for the channel members, the once a month members giveaway is usually a little nicer knife, right? It's not just a budget banger, though those are great. I want to make sure it's something nice. As generous as you've been to me, I want to be generous back, right? So that's my way to say thank you. So check out for that. So if you're interested in being a channel member, you're curious, hey, how to become a channel member, check out the description down below. There is a link for 3 different tiers. Would love to have you. Don't feel obligated ever to be a channel member. If you don't want to be a channel member, don't, right? Just enjoy the content, subscribe, follow, like the videos, enjoy the content. Thank you. Enjoy the live streams, whatever. But if you want to be a channel member, I'm humbled and I'm grateful, and I thank you for that. I do appreciate that. That does help the channel. It allows me to check out things way sooner than I ever thought I'd be able to do. And it encourages me. Encourages me because I do this part-time. I'm not a full-time YouTuber. I do this as a part-time thing. So thank you, thank you, thank you for that. I just want you to know that. All right. If you haven't already, maybe also check me out on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Again, that's on Instagram at robs_nerdy_knives. Thanks so much for watching. Have a great day and a great week. Bye.